Hi there, this is Dale Byron, and this podcast is Dale Byron on Poetry. If you've been tracking this work for any particular amount of time, then you know how much I love poetry. I love poetry for many, many reasons. Of course, it inspires us. That's one of the more famous things that poetry does. Poetry also helps us remember ourselves, literally put ourselves back together in a different way. Poetry can help us grieve losses. Very, very important. Poetry can help us celebrate those joyful moments. Poetry can help us be in awe and great appreciation of the natural world and so many, many other things that it does that I've talked about on this podcast. But this week, I want to talk about another very practical use for poetry, and this is in a political realm. See, one of the things that I do, I love to read poetry, I love to write poetry, and I know many of you do the same. You do both. And so, one of the things that I use poetry for and poetry writing is a kind of way to make sense of the world. Frost said that poems are momentary stays against the confusion. And I really believe that. And so writing a poem often can be a way for us to navigate the world, to see how we're feeling about something, to let the words kind of get ahead of us in a way. And then we can go back and see sort of what we are feeling and thinking as it comes together. At least that's the experience I've had with writing as a kind of discovery process, and which is one of my favorite ways to step into it. So this week, this is a piece that I wrote some time ago. A few weeks ago, and it's my response. I've been sending this piece out, not to literary journals, but to people who are asking me for donations. And so you could write your own poem, or you could, of course, send this one if you want, depending on what your stance in the world is. For me, this poem is titled "Asking Me to Stand with the Dems." The Democratic Party is what that stands for, of course. Asking me to stand with the Dems. And the piece I wrote goes like this: You keep asking for more money. You keep asking for more money. And for me to stand with the Dems, I'll stand with the Dems when they actually take a stand for us all. I'll stand with the Dems when they actually take a stand for us all. I'll stand with the Dems when they break a few rules. Peacefully, yes. Creatively, for sure. Forcefully, of course, as when dealing with any bully. I'll stand with the Dems when they clean up their own act, rejecting our billionaire-backed political system, a.k.a. the coin-operated oligarch plan. I'll stand with the Dems when they stand for something real. I'll stand with the Dems when they stop focusing on how bad they are and start focusing on how good we all could be. Which reminds me, where's the Dems Party's version of a Project 2025 plan? Repeat after me. Repeat after me. Ecological sanity, healthcare for all, bribery out of politics, ERA finally done, democracy at work, fair pay for fair work, robust peace process, applied equality. Also remember that political election outcome you were so afraid of. Me too. Me too. Well, it's happened. Well, it's happened. Now what? Why not say and do things that are pro-human and pro-earth? Why not say and do things that aren't hedge fund approved or billionaire purchased, nor focus group backed or sanctioned by political consultants? And please, no more tiny moving the Titanic deck chairs, incremental steps that keep serving up all that milk toast, business as usual disappointment. Listen, Dems. Listen, Dems. You feel me? Listen, Dems. You feel me? I'll stand up tall with you. Even give a little money if you'll just keep it real. I mean, really real. Well, of course, as you hear this poem, you know that I have put tremendous editorial in that poem. My beliefs about how my own politics, these are my own opinions, of course, and of course yours will be different than mine. But the point I'm trying to make is that poetry, poems that we find, poems that we write, can be very practical. They can help us understand the world. I don't know about you, but I was talking to a dear friend just a couple of days ago, and we were both saying how there's a human need, a human deep need and urge to make sense out of the world, to understand as best we can what's happening in the world. And so I use poetry. I use the writing of poetry, and of course, found poems too. I often find poems. My experience is that that poet has said something that is so true that it resonates in my own body. You know, there's this sense sometimes that if we go deep into our own privacy, that we come out into the universal. And it doesn't get any better than that when you find a poem that speaks something, helps you understand the world, helps you navigate your own ideas and feelings about the world in a way that's better than anything you've been able to say yourself so far or that you've found. And sometimes, again, that you can write your own discovery kind of poem, and you can find that you're saying things that you did not know you knew. You can say things that you did not know you knew. Now, again, I'm not pretending that this poem I just wrote, that I just read to you, is any great art. But what it did for me is it helped me put down on paper in a kind of prose poem form how I'm feeling about politics these days, or at least a part of politics. And it helped me be able to say, I'm going to share this. I may be tilting at windmills. Maybe nobody will read it, but I've sent 200 or 300 copies of this out. Everybody that's asking me for money, because this is what I want them to know. This is what I want them to know. And so when I say, why not say and do things that aren't hedge fund approved? Don't you get tired of that? You know, everything's coin operated. Everything is about money. So why not say and do things that aren't hedge fund approved or billionaire purchased? God, have we had enough of that? Nor focus group backed. I am tired of that kind of focus group approach to life and to politics, or sanctioned by political consultants. I'm tired of them too. And please, no more of those tiny moving the Titanic deck chairs, incremental steps that keep serving up that milk toast, business as usual disappointment. Listen, Dems. Listen, Dems. You feel me? Listen, Dems. You feel me? I'll stand up tall with you, even give a little money, if you'll just keep it real. I mean, really real. So there you have it. Thank you so much for your listening ear. I really do appreciate it. If you know others that you think might appreciate this approach to poetry and sometimes poetry writing, because I encourage those who are called to that to do that for so many reasons. Of course, to make art, but also just to understand, to make meaning for yourself, to kind of Hear yourself, again, as we've been saying, hear yourself say things you did not know you knew. That can be a wonderful kind of satisfaction. Okay, thanks again. Until next time and next poem, take good care of yourself, and if you can, someone else.